What was supposed to be a check to pay for a water bill ended up being stolen and changed into a check for $1,400. News Channel 5 Jesse Knutson tells us it was stolen from a Nashville nonprofit with a goal of helping those impacted by pancreatic cancer.
At the Nikki Mitchell Foundation, they spend their time helping others.
Pancreatic cancer has now passed breast cancer as the third leading cause of cancer deaths in the United States.
Called a silent killer, the cancer took the life of Rhonda Miles' best friend in 2013, Nikki Mitchell, who was the manager for Waylon Jennings for more than 20 years. Rhonda started the foundation with Jamie Johnson, and in the past 6 years, they've done a lot of good, financially helping 40 pancreatic cancer patients each month.
We have a girl here in Nashville that's 28 years old who was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer.
And while they send out checks to help people, one check over the weekend caught Rhonda's eye, a $1,700 check she did not remember writing.
And when I see a $1,700 check come through that I didn't write, I'm going to check it out.
Turns out it was a check meant for Metro Water to pay the foundation's water bill. It was supposed to be for $17.80, but this man came by and stole the check from the foundation's mailbox early Friday morning, then doctored it.
So now it's George somebody. I'm not sure who George is. And it's $1,780.
Luckily, the foundation was able to get the money back from the bank so they can instead use it to help those in need. But they say this is a wake-up call for them, and it should be for others as well.
And I just want people to be more aware that there are people that don't think like us, and your stuff is vulnerable. It's sitting out there waiting on George to come by and pick it up.
In East Nashville, Jesse Knutson, News Channel 5.
Well, tonight's the night. The College World Series Championship is about to begin.
And Commodore Nation is ready for this game. Vanderbilt baseball tweeted these pictures this afternoon, thanking fans for a strong send-off. Just ahead, the strong ties between the two coaches in this matchup.
And later we'll tell you about some products that could be in jeopardy because the younger generation simply isn't very keen about it.
The U.S. responded to Iran today, not with an attack, but with an executive order, one that slaps new sanctions on Iran. President Trump signed the paperwork at the White House today. The sanctions target Iran's supreme leader, and they're designed to keep him from using the U.S. financial system or from accessing any assets in the United States.
I look forward to the day when sanctions can be finally lifted and Iran can become a peaceful, prosperous, and productive nation. That can go very quickly. It can be tomorrow. It could also be in years from now. So I look forward to discussing whatever I have to discuss with anybody that wants to speak. In the meantime, who knows what's going to happen? I can only tell you we cannot ever let Iran have a nuclear weapon, and it won't happen.
Just last week, Iran claimed responsibility for shooting down an unmanned U.S. drone, and the U.S. has called for an emergency meeting of the UN Security Council. Leaders say they have evidence to show Iran is behind the recent oil tanker attacks. Those are fans in Milan, Italy, cheering after winning the vote to host the 2026 Winter Olympics. It'll host alongside Cortina d'Ampezzo, giving the country its second Olympics in 20 years. Sweden's bid came up short for the 8th time. They've yet to host the Winter Games.
Well, we are now less than an hour away from the first pitch of the College World Series Finals. The Vandy boys continue their quest for another national title. This time it's against Michigan. News Channel 5 Steve Lehman is in Omaha with the story of the deep connection Michigan's head coach has to Tim Corbin in Vanderbilt.
When Vanderbilt and Michigan take the field tonight here at TD Ameritrade Park for Game 1 of the College World Series Finals, it will be a matchup of mentor versus protege, with Eric Bakich leading Michigan into the Big Ten's first college baseball national championship appearance in more than half a century against his old boss, Tim Corbin, the man he helped build a once woeful Vanderbilt program into a national power.
Vanderbilt's not Vanderbilt without Eric Bakich. When Vanderbilt was not an attractive school to come to, he's someone that was like me, just needed the opportunity, and he was not going to take no for an answer.
The two first met when Corbin was an assistant coach at Clemson under Jack Leggett. Bakich was brought on as the team's volunteer assistant. The two hit it off immediately.
You hear the phrase a lot about being in the right place at the right time and surrounding yourself with the right people. I felt like I hit the jackpot with that when I got to Clemson. I connected with Coach Corbin right away and just wanted to be like him.
Corbin was so impressed by Bakich, he brought him to Vanderbilt when he was hired as head coach in 2003. Together, they laid the foundation for a program that's had 5 50-win seasons and reached the College World Series 4 times since 2010.
He built a recruiting base that stands today. But the David Prices, the Pedro Alvarez's, the David Macias's, the Dominic De Los's, the good players back then, those are because of him. And because of that, it allowed other people like them to want to come to Vanderbilt.
When he left Vanderbilt, Bakich set out to build his own program. And like Corbin, he's defied the odds, leading a cold weather school to within 2 wins of a national title.
Vanderbilt would be the skyscraper it is today because of him and his wife. And I was very fortunate to be a part of that. And what I got from that is a blueprint of how to build something that maybe hasn't done it before.
The two coaches remain good friends. Corbin's the godfather to one of Bakich's sons, and last week ran from the Vanderbilt team hotel here to the ballpark just to congratulate Bakich after one of his wins. Now the two friends are opponents with the national championship on the line. In Omaha, Steve Lehman, News Channel 5.
Looks nice and sunny there with a little wind.
I think we're all so a little shell shocked. That's like sunny skies.
Where?
Yeah,
I'll go.
what is that?
Is it going to last?
Oh, people want to, gather and watch the game tonight.
Yes. And the Vandy boys in this especially these last few weeks, they have been plagued even with away games at home, really struggling to get these games in. I mentioned earlier no severe weather forecast here in the next 7 days. Doesn't mean it's going to be bone dry for 7 straight days. We're just transitioning our weather pattern back to normal summer-like variety. This is a loop of storms. What you just saw come through, that's Friday. This is a loop over the last 3 days. Look at the storm reports that came through from the blast that happened Friday night. Then another one around daybreak Saturday morning. This brought more trees down in some areas. Saturday night, we had another round of strong storms ride in from the northwest, adding more storm reports along that Interstate 24 corridor. Brief break overnight, and then this morning, we had showers and storms work their way in from the south and southwest. The morning storms didn't pack much of a punch, but once we got into the afternoon hours today, we started to see more storms across the area. So another round come through. Look how it's hard to even see the county lines here as you add up all the storm reports over just the last 3 days. That doesn't include Monday through Thursday of last week. So it's nice to finally say that no widespread organized severe weather is expected. As I mentioned, once we get into more of a summer-like pattern in the afternoon, heat, humidity combined, you get a few pop-up showers and storms, but not widespread, not like what we've had to endure. Mid-80s, some 70s and higher elevations since that's where the rain was most recently. 75 Crossville, 79 McMinnville. We are on our way to what will likely be a beautiful sunset tonight. There's just enough cloud cover sticking around on the backside of the system. It'll light up tonight. Orange, red, beautiful. 81 in Franklin, almost a ½ inch of rain since just midnight. Nearly an inch down in the Clarksville area. Another real pretty sky there, sitting at 80.